you ride or drive with Uber in the state of Georgia, the amount of insurance that's available to protect you in the event of a collision is about to go down by as much as 90% in a lot of circumstances. That's because a law that the General Assembly, Georgia's legislative body, passed earlier this year takes effect on July 1, and it reduces the amount of insurance that Uber or Lyft is required to provide for its passengers from $1 million to, in most circumstances, $100,000. Let's take a look at how that happened from a more technical legal perspective. For that, I'll pull up my computer. And we're looking now at a publicly available website that tells us about OCGA, the official code of Georgia annotated 33-1-24. And if we scroll on down, we're now looking at the current version, that is the version in effect before July 1, 2023. We can see in subsection B3 that rideshare companies, Uber and Lyft, are supposed to provide uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, that's coverage, protection for you, of at least $1 million per incident. And now let's look at what changed. To see what's been changed, we go over here to LegiScan. This is a place where you can go and see pending and past legislation. And then down here in this box, we can see what's actually going on. We're looking now again at subsection B3, and this is the change that takes effect on July 1. You can see they struck through the 1 million and wrote the pursuant to 33-711, which is the insurance statute. Now the rideshare companies only have to provide $300,000 for bodily injuries or death to all persons in any one incident, with a maximum of $100,000 for injuries or death to one person. So that's the change. A lot of insurance policies are written like that, smaller policies that are less than $1 million with the two limits. $300,000 is what's available for an entire collision. So if there are 3 people hurt in the Uber, then each could collect up to $100,000. If there's 4, well, then you got to divide the 300 4 ways. But the limit that applies to us as individuals is the lower one, the $100,000 limit, because that's all that's available to any one person who's been injured in an Uber ride pursuant to the insurance. And let me tell you, with a serious injury, that's not going to be enough. When you take the medical bills associated with surgeries and other things that come with serious injury cases, past medical bills, future medical care, being out of work, pain and suffering, that number is going to add up to over $100,000 really quickly. So the unfortunate news is that in just a few days, the amount of insurance that's available for a single person in an Uber or Lyft for coverage is going to go down from $1 million to a tenth of that, to $100,000. If you'd like to read more about it, you can take a look at a blog post that we've written that covers it in greater detail. I'm showing that on the computer now. We'll put a link to it in the description.